Hello there guys, and welcome back to the channel. So, oh boy, do we have to talk today, because, effectively, long story short, Hulkling and Valkyrie broke down to the non-slot got nerfed because of it. Okay, no, that's too abbreviated version. I have the exact gist of the situation written out here, kind of like step by step from what happened. So, Kabam released a new StatCast relics with new penetration type of abilities, like energy penetration, physical penetration, stuff that didn't exist in the game before. That caused an issue with the game, with quote-unquote edge case champions with massive amounts of previously existing penetration, such as Hulkling and Valkyrie, because they had armor penetration. Basically, they created new relics that nobody asked for, with new stats that didn't exist before, that broke Hulkling and Valkyrie, because they changed the game and the way the game mechanics work. So then there's an issue with Hulkling and Valkyrie because their damage is significantly nerfed, and again, eventually people notice that Hulkling and Valkyrie damage is bugged. Not Kabam. Kabam did nothing about it. There were like many threads and many videos about the damage nerf before Kabam acknowledged it and started actually doing something about it. So I just want to point that out, that it wasn't they themselves that actually says like, okay, these champions are bugged, we're fixing them. Then they're working now on a fix for Hulkling and Valkyrie damage, but for whatever reason, that fix somehow facilitates change to the way that protection works. So that fix somehow facilitated the way to a need for protection mechanic, apparently, allegedly, and that change to protection nerfs Daunted and one half of top 10 mutant champions in the game. So in the process of doing something that nobody asked for, nobody needed new stats in the game, nobody wanted new StatCast relics utilizing these stats, Kabam has made everybody rage twice, and both times it was up to players to notice these changes in the game, kick up a stink, and then eventually for Kabam to respond. There is no world, there is no scenario where any of that is acceptable, professional, or, reasonable behavior of a gaming company, you dicks. There is just no way you can put this across making Kabam look competent or proper. So again, to break it down, Kabam makes new StatCast relics with new stats that didn't previously exist in the game. This screws up with existing champions and existing sets of, penetration that we have, which nerfs Hulkling and Valkyrie and apparently Hercules. Players notice it, kick up a fuss, then they are working on a fix to Hulkling and Valkyrie, but that somehow facilitates a change to the way protection interacts with other things, such as Daunted, which then in turn nerfs one half of the top 10 mutants. And none of this, a single step of this, was communicated in advance, or even after the fact. It was only communicated after players started raging. So let's break down this post. The team hard work, and I like the way they are presenting this. Like, it's not that, oh, sorry guys, we fucked up, Daunted is nerfed. They're like, the team has been hard at work and we have been doing our best to fix Hulkling and Valkyrie. Like, talk about journalistic spin. The team has been hard at work to fix both Hulkling and Valkyrie. We're hoping that have both of these updates in your hands before end of next week. You should note a significant increase in damage to both of these champions. Here's a sneak peek. The team decided the simplest fix to these champions was just to increase the damage they deal on each hit by the same amount that armor penetration used to in its bugged state. This will result in very clean and predictable improvement in their performance, but it does also mean that we have had to accelerate something we were planning to ship a little further down the road. As some of you know, up until now, effects that increase and reduce damage dealt have been strictly additive. Why change? As example, the effect that increases dealt damage by 50%, such as Vigor buff, would counteract any effect that decreases damage dealt by 99%, such as Protection, Passive, or Boss's Corrupted Armor, and result in reduction of 49%. Additionally, 250 protections would add together to stop all incoming damage. We do not consider this current function to be healthy, one, for many reasons. And what reasons? You made it. Why isn't it healthy? The game functioned fine for 11 years with the game functioning this way. Why change it now? Huh? Like, why isn't it healthy? It's like you literally made it and you solved and you designed champions around the fact that this is how things interact. But all of a sudden it's not healthy. We do not consider this current faction to be healthy, one, for many reasons, and we have been in process of reworking it more closely to match the way Fury and Weakness interact. Why is that better? Why? The same way we reworked Prowess and Cover this last winter, change has actually been in the code for a while now, but disabled while we work on edge cases, since Hulkling and Valkyrie will both soon have always-on, powerful, damaging, increasing effects. We don't intend for these fixes to their damage to grant them new ability to punch through protection and story bosses, then fix them some other way. Because you literally just said this was the easiest way for you to fix them. The simplest way for you to fix them. Simplest fix. You could have just, fixed them a little less simple without making them punch through protection. This just reeks of bullshit and incompetence. It's a mixture of laziness, incompetence, and bullshit. Okay. We do not consider this function to be healthy for many reasons, so we have been in the process of reworking it more closely to match the way Fury and Weakness affect the same way. Okay, so since Hulkling and Valkyrie will both have always-on powerful damage increasing effects, we don't intend for these fixes to their damage grant them new ability to punch through protection and story boss. We will be enabling this refractor soon alongside the update to their kits. Again, it's like, but you could have always changed them some other way. You really, really could have. Like we said, this is happening a bit sooner than we would have preferred. Like, just cut the crap. Somebody did this. Like you said, this is happening as if, like, I don't know, it was an act of God. This is happening because of whatever. Right? No, it's like somebody made these changes live in the game. Somebody fucked up. But you can just say that. They're like, oh, it's like, I woke up one morning and there's like fucking 80 lines of code that had been enabled in the game. Like, it's bullshit what it is. But, oh, it reminds me of my 9-year-old son. When he breaks something, he doesn't say it's like, I broke something. He always uses the, it broke, as if like it magically broke by itself and he had nothing to do with it. This is a 9-year-old tactic of kind of like shifting the responsibility. This is happening a bit sooner. It's like, oh, and you had nothing to do with it. None of you at Kabam had anything to do. This is just happening, right? Like, it's one of those things. It is just happening, right? Like we said, this is happening a bit sooner than we would have preferred, but we consider it important to make these characters what we intended them to be as soon as possible. And so we were okay to having a fixed couple of edge cases. One of those edge cases was with Deathless Thanos specifically, whose protection passive would have been unintentionally nerfed by Refractor due to some code that we're still polishing in our end. Oh, now you're getting involved. Only when you're just polishing things up, right? Not when the changes go live. Because of this, his data for 55.0 has a fix in place that reinforces what his protection and full energy should already be doing and stops all incoming damage. As somehow noticed, this does mean that taunted effects no longer punch through his protection. That is how this interaction is supposed to work, as they were never intended to have that effect, but it was our mistake to have that particular fix in place before our changes were, and that was the only thing you did wrong, right? Oh, it was just a mistake. It's a timing issue, really. Nothing else. It's a timing issue here. Fix in place before other changes were made that necessitated it, and crucially, before we had a chance to explain all of this to you. We plan to leave this fix in place since it will be needed very soon when Hulkling and Valkyrie are fixed. So they're not gonna. So that's it. Down to sucks now, basically. Okay, cool. We apologize for the confusion that the timing mismatch has caused. Oh, really? Going forward, you should see more consistent interaction between effects that increase and reduce damage. Damage increases. Like, we're gonna get back to this in a second. Damage increase effects like Daunted will be added together and increase damage by the indicated amount, and then damage reflection effects like Protection will reduce the total damage multiplicatively, the same way weakness reduces modified attack. Most obvious consequence that these champions with their own protection effects will no longer reduce damage to 0, and combined with protection node from buffs, 250 protections would now add up to 75% reduction as an example. We appreciate your patience as we dealt with Hulkling and Valkyrie. We're expecting to get these updates live for everyone, experience them performing as originally envisioned. Okay, so I do have an issue with this. You should see more consistent interaction between effects. Additionally, up until now, effects that increase reduce damage dealt is strictly additive. That was consistent. It was just, again, consistent in the way that they didn't like it. But again, up until now, effects that increase and reduce damage dealt have been strictly additive. It was very easy and consistent to figure out how things work, because you can just plus minus the percentages. You know, it's gonna get, you know, way more in the weeds and the gray area now when you're gonna have to multiply them rather than simply add and subtract them. At the very least, there was nothing inconsistent about this. Seriously, they're just a bunch of dicks, man. Again, so just to highlight how ridiculous this is. Kabam makes new statcasts that fuck up the game. That fuck up causes Hulkling and Valkyrie to lose a ton of damage. Players notice that. Kabam says nothing about it for a while. Turns out players are right, their damage is nerfed. They're working on a fix for that. That facilitates another change to the way the game works, and that ends up nerfing Daunted. Fuck you, man. Oh. I should have added the point where they obviously expressly sold these champions for a lot of money as well. Fuck you. That's like the most polite response I can have to this post and this entire chain of events. Disgusting, two-faced. Things like this, language like that, posts like that, presentation like that, the fact that they did all of this, you know, without letting people know, or even right now, is like, for many reasons, like, name fucking 2. What are the many reasons? It's like, nah, we don't have to. Trust me, we have good reasons. You know what is Kabam's good reason, generally speaking? We like money and fuck you. Those are the many good reasons. Here, I did it for them. I named the many good reasons. Because the best reason is probably going to be we're about to release a new champion that somehow fucks with all of this. And we want to sell it to you for more. And second of all, fuck you anyways because we do whatever we want. Well, there you go. So Hulkling and Valkyrie are soon gonna get fixed, so that's kind of nice. But Daunted kind of sucks now. Yay. Hello there guys and welcome back to the channel. So we have all the information about